John, it's been nearly a month since the Wizard World comic book convention. And the new episode that contains interviews you guys took at it, including of, a certain fan who shall remain nameless me, is it's not up yet. And yet you got like the San Diego one like up, the week after San Diego, which, what, you like them better than us, huh? Well, of course, then again, you had like the Shimers and the Tilio, and so well, why no new episode, huh? Why? You lazy? Well, I'm just as lazy, so hey, look forward to it. Get it up eventually, please.
By popular demand, back from vacation, and with a new website. Take it away, Lou.
You are listening to Masters Cast.
Masters Cast, the first He-Man and She-Ra podcast, episode number 20 for August 27th, 2006. All right, welcome to Masters Cast. I'm John Callis, also known as The Shadow.
I'm Just a Lioncourt, also known as Just Lioncourt.
And I'm Katie Carty, also known as Rainbow Bright.
How's everyone doing this week?
I feel like crap.
Oh, you have Rainbow Bright has a cold.
I have strep throat.
Oh.
But I'll live.
That's always a bummer.
Hey, at least you did not get the strep throat while in Wizard World Chicago, which is where two of us were last weekend.
That is correct.
Yes, damn you both. I wish I had been there. Would have been fun.
It was a blast. I would have been very upset if I had been sick while I was there.
It was a lot of fun. And actually, a lot of people have mentioned that the convention floor was a little bit boring. There wasn't as many vendors there this year. There was a lot of empty space. But I actually found it to be more fun because they actually had at the Sony booth, they had PlayStation karaoke. So there was at least something for us to do.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
A little too much fun with that. They were probably going to get sick of us continuing to get in line over and over again, but what can you do? I actually
What did you guys sing? What did you guys sing?
Let's not mention one of them, but
Come on.
I sang Bowling for Soup 1985. And Katie sang Material Girl, so that was fun. Adam Tyner, who you'll remember from back in the day, he sang, what was it, Ace of Spades? I don't know who sings it, though.
Yeah, I don't either, but it was awesome.
It's time to hear from you, the fans. Here are your voicemails for this edition of Masters Cast. Want to have your voice heard on Masters Cast? Go to www.masterscast.com and click on Submit Your Voice. And now, your voicemails.
Hey guys, it's Prince Adam 23, otherwise known as TJ for the record. I'm probably leaving you with a bit of useless trivia here, but Alan Oppenheimer did not quit doing voiceover work after Masters of the Universe. If any of you have ever watched The Neverending Story, keep a close listen to the voice of Falcor. That's Alan Oppenheimer, yeah. But that's not the point of this voicemail. I just wanted to say it's great that they're releasing The Secret of the Sword. I mean, I watched, the 5 episodes of She-Ra and then the actual release of the movie, the full-fledged movie, and I stumbled upon that when I was coming home from school. I was watching USA's Cartoon Express. That was an interesting set of programming. I mean, you had Voltron, you had G.I. Joe, you had He-Man, and I was just impressed that USA was making its attempts at Saturday morning cartoons. I came home from school one day and Mom had it on. I mean, of course, I loved to every day came home to watch He-Man and She-Ra, and I saw this episode where He-Man was crossed over with She-Ra, but I thought it was She-Ra. You know, it was a He-Man episode. I had no idea until the episode came on afterwards that it was the beginning of She-Ra, Princess of Power. I was stoked. I'm a bit sad that we didn't see any She-Ra characters in He-Man, although we did hear bits and pieces of the She-Ra music in Season 2.
Hey guys, it's Rob again, just calling back from your San Diego show. I had a blast meeting everybody down there, especially Katie. First time I got to meet her. It was great. I just wanted to say a few things. I thought Rio Blast Faction was pretty cool. I love it. I'm going to definitely buy it. I like Screech. I'm not sure why we're getting Evil in again, but hey, whatever. Screech is cool. Lou and Erica were just great to meet again. I'd met them last year when they came down for He-Man, and that was fun. And also the dinner was awesome, especially going to the bar afterwards and just hanging out with everybody. And then, like as Katie said, it was just great talking about He-Man, you know. She couldn't believe we were doing it. It was pretty fun. And thanks to Shadow. That's right. Thanks to Shadow for the Masters Cast shirt I got. I'll be sure to be wearing it. Later.
We're going to have a lot of fan interviews that we did at Wizard World later in the show, so stay tuned. But the focus right now that we're going to turn to is something we didn't get to review yet that came out a few weeks ago, and that would be the Best of She-Ra, Princess of Power 2-disc DVD set released by BCI Eclipse. We love them.
Yes, we do.
We love them.
And now under the banner of Ink and Paint, which is a subdivision of BCI, we should probably mention.
Yeah. So the best of has, of course, The Secret of the Sword, which is the first 5 episodes of She-Ra, edited with a little bit, some different scenes into a movie. And then Disc 2 is the best of She-Ra, contains Of Shadows and Skulls, Sweet Bee's Home, Horde Prime Takes a Holiday, The Stone and the Sword, and The Price of Freedom as the 5 best episodes of She-Ra as chosen by the fans. Now, what did everyone vote for? Do you guys remember what you voted for as your favorite episode of She-Ra? Or the best episode of She-Ra?
Well, actually, 4 of the 5 I voted for ended up on the disc, which was nice.
Lucky, but...
Yeah, I voted for Shadows and Skulls, Sweet Bee's Home, The Price of Freedom, and The Stone and the Sword, so not bad.
Well,
I don't remember everything I voted for, but I know 2 that I did vote for that did not make it, which I'm very upset about, are... Crap, and the name just left me.
Flowers for Hordak was one of them.
Thank you. Yes, Flowers for Hordak and Huntara. I was very upset that neither one of those made it. Tear. But I guess I can wait till the season sets.
Yeah. I definitely voted for The Stone and the Sword, of course. So, and it made it as number 2. Understandably, Price of Freedom being voted in as number 1. A lot of He-Man and She-Ra crossovers. Actually, all of these are He-Man crossover episodes except for The Stone and the Sword, which is why it stands out beautifully on the set.
Horde Prime Takes a Holiday is a crossover?
Yeah, it's got Skeletor.
Josh, it has He-Man in it. It has Skeletor in it. I believe the Sorceress is in it.
It's been a long time since I saw that episode, so
see,
the other ones I know.
Josh doesn't do his research before he just flies on the seat.
Yeah.
The podcast.
I don't really like that episode, so I have not gone out of my way to watch it yet. So,
well, let's start off with the regular edition packaging. It's really awesome. It has, of course, the embossing. It's very colorful. Not a lot of pink, just enough.
Thank you, BCI, for continuing to do the embossed covers, because obviously for me that is an excellent feature, and very, very happy. And it's kind of interesting because, like, on this one we've got She-Ra on the front. The She-Ra cartoon started after I lost my vision, so I never really knew what the characters were drawn like. So this gives me a little bit better idea, which is kind of
cool.
nice.
I never thought about that.
Now, She-Ra's standing in the middle, and the new rendition of the She-Ra Princess of Power logo is at the top. Love the new stylistic rendition of the logo. It's still in the classic style, but it's like pumped up more.
Yeah.
It has the power. Then we also
and I like all the sparklies going off everywhere, even if they're not glittery, but they're close enough. They look cool.
Yeah, it might have been a little too intense if they had the holographic glittery sparkles.
Yeah, maybe.
But we also see Mantenna, Shadow Weaver, Hordak, Glimmer, Cal, Bo, and Queen Angela on the cover. So that's really good. On the back, we have some screenshots. The Rebellion, He-Man, She-Ra, Hordak, She-Ra on Swiftwind. Going inside, some more fun screenshots and information. Then we got 2 big photos, one of She-Ra, one of Hordak, and then another one of She-Ra in front of the Crystal Castle, just like the cover, but without the words and the other characters. Disc 1 has She-Ra on it. Disc 2 has Hordak. The backgrounds are of, the Whispering Woods, and then Hordak's, throne room, all that fun stuff.
Like always, there are 2 art cards in the set. So we've got number 1 of 8 and 2 of 8. Number 1 is by Brandon Peterson, and it's of She-Ra and Catra duking it out. And Lukey's in the background. You can just barely see him, which I think is adorable. But yeah, it's really cool. They're just like, rah! They got the angry faces on and the sword, and, it's pretty cool. And number 2 is by Joe Chiodo. Mm-hmm. And it is of Catra.
Or Kyoto.
Kyoto. Did we decide that's how it's said?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's Scorpia and Frosta. And Lukey's in this one too. I didn't even notice that until now. That's awesome. And yeah, they're looking like they're about to duke it out too, but they don't have the angry faces on. They're just kind of looking at each other like, come and get it. So yeah, I think they're pretty cool.
And now there's also another actual edition of the Best of She-Ra, which is a Secret of the Sword variant edition that is available on He-Man.org and was available at Wizard World Chicago. Limited and numbered, 1,000 copies are only available, so you definitely want to pick one up. There are only a few remaining left for fans to pick up, and Katie is going to give you the 411 on this edition.
Yes, and pardon me. I don't know if you've just mentioned the shadow that they're numbered. I mean, you did say that they're limited to 1,000. But yeah, each one is numbered on the back. I've got number 19. So
I have number 18.
Special. I know. Isn't that cool? So yes, on the front of this, the cover art is more reminiscent of the old movie. Movie what? Movie poster?
And comic.
Movie? Okay. The cover of this one is more reminiscent of the old movie poster and comic that went with Secret of the Sword. It's got He-Man and She-Ra on the front, both raising their swords. And then we've got Hordak and Mantenna off towards Castle Grayskull, and Skeletor and Shadow Weaver off towards the Crystal Castle. And this one does have definitely more pink on it than the other, but I think that's awesome.
But it's like it's like a muted pink. It's a darker pink.
It's got more like a salmon coral kind of color to it.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so you can deal with that.
Yes,
and the purple isn't killing you?
No, that's perfectly fine. Love it. I need a poster.
Yes, I agree.
We're embossed on this one because I don't have this copy yet.
Oh, He-Man and She-Ra are both embossed on this one.
Very nice.
As well as the Secret of the Sword logo at the top. On the back, similar to the other, we've got 3 screenshots from the different episodes and so forth. On the back of this one, we've got He-Man and She-Ra, around the special features and so forth. Inside, more screenshots, the summary. We've got the big shot of He-Man and She-Ra. Like, on the very front cover of this DVD set, it's He-Man and She-Ra with their swords pointing outward toward the corners. On the inside, it's got He-Man and She-Ra with their swords crossing in the middle. So it's really, really cool. And you still got Castle Grayskull and the Crystal Castle in the background with like a big sparkly circle thing going around them. And then inside, there's He-Man and She-Ra and Swiftwind, and you've got the She-Ra's sword right in the middle, and it's kind of glowing, so they're both looking at the sword in the very middle of the set before you open it up. And then the discs are the same. They've got She-Ra on one and Hordak on the other, and I believe the background art here is the same.
Actually, no, it's different.
Is it? Okay. Oh, I see. This is the Whispering Woods behind her. What's behind him? This is just more of the Fright Zone, it looks like. Oh, I see. I've got my thingies covering up the rest of it. Oh, okay, yeah. So we've got the Whispering Woods behind her and more of the Fright Zone behind him. And the art cards that come with this set are different as well than the original set. We've got one here by Emiliano Santalucia, and it is very, very, very cool. It's basically got all the good guys from She-Ra on it. And I would try to name them off, but I'm not as familiar with She-Ra characters as I am with E-Man, and I wouldn't know them all.
You can mention, though, that there are some rare ones out there, like Tall Stars on there and stuff like that. Characters that you haven't, that didn't get a lot of episode play.
Yes. So I was very, very pleased with this one. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And the other, by Nathan, oh no, how do you say his last name? Birch? That's what it looks like to me. He goes by Bana on the board. Very nice guy. And Emiliano is as well. I got to meet both of them this summer at these conventions. So, yeah, kudos to them. But his art card is of Glimmer and Queen Angela. And they're both just kind of close shots. Queen Angela's flying up behind Glimmer, and Glimmer's got her staff up. Just very powerful, I don't know, just really, really good shot there. Really, really well done artwork on both of these. I think that's it.
Shall we delve into the secret of the sword quickly?
We shall.
Now, disc 1 is the secret of the sword, and we really want to do an episode centered on the secret of the sword at a later date, so we're just going to cover this kind of quickly. But the secret of the sword is, of course, the first 5 episodes of She-Ra. That's how this was originally written. It was written as 5-part episodes. It wasn't written as a movie. But Filmation decided to edit it, throw in a little variation on some scenes, and call it The Secret of the Sword, and put it out in theaters. So they had a nice big premiere and everything, and it was actually re-released. In theaters, we actually had a show about that when it was re-released into theaters. But anyway, it's She-Ra's origin. Thoughts, concerns, complaints?
Now, these were all written by Larry DiTillio except for one, right?
Yes. The episode She-Ra Unchained, which would be when She-Ra, or when Adora actually becomes She-Ra and has a lot of the Magna Beam in it, that was written by Bob Forward.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it's the film. It's The Secret of the Sword. We've all seen it. It's been very well restored and a very well written series. A very well written origin story for She-Ra. If we're going to do an entire show on it, I guess there's not a lot more to say than that, except that this release does have a commentary track with Lou Scheimer, Erica Scheimer, Gwen Wexler. That's right. Alan Oppenheimer, and I think that's it.
Larry
DiTillio, of course. And that was I got to listen to most of that. That's a very well done commentary. In fact, I think that's by far the best commentary we've gotten on any of the DVD releases to date. When you guys,
I was completely happy with how the commentary track turned out for Secret of the Sword. Mm-hmm. I had some issues with commentary tracks on the He-Man releases in the past, but this one, they definitely knew what they were doing this time. I mean, it was really, really good. It was well done. It was great to have Alan Oppenheimer there, who, of course, is the voice of Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, etc.
Merman.
Yeah.
And he breaks into a lot of those characters throughout the commentary track, which is a lot of fun.
And, of course, I mean, to have Larry DiTillio sitting there, he wrote basically the entire movie, so he's going to have the information you want to know. So definitely,
and he does give us a lot of little tidbits and things that I don't think the fans, at least not most of them, knew before this. So that was really fun.
There was definitely some "oh really" to that.
Exactly. Oh. Knew it.
Interesting. But we're not going to tell you what those are, folks, because you have to go buy the Best of She-Ra in stores now. And remember, this is the only way you're going to be able to get Secret of the Sword. Yes, Season 1, Volume 1 will have the first 5 episodes. But it's not exactly the same.
And let me also just throw this out there because I can't resist any more than you could on your appearance on the San Diego Comic-Con documentary. I got a little shout-out in the commentary track, which was very cool.
Yes, you did, Mr. Famous over there.
So, thank you, Lou, and everyone who was involved in the commentary track. It was neat hearing being mentioned on that, and I was very flattered. So thank you very much.
So we definitely want more commentary tracks. Thumbs up. If I was Ebert. So moving on to delving into really the best of She-Ra according to the fans, and I'm one of them. So I'm definitely opinionated. But let's go on to the episodes. Number 5 of Shadows and Skulls. Now, real quick, what happens in this episode is basically Shadow Weaver's ticked off at Hordak. She joins forces with Skeletor. It backfires. Hilarity ensues.
I love this episode.
It is a really good episode.
This has always been one of my favorites. It's a fun episode. Nothing really earth-shattering happens in it. It's just a great story, and we get to see Skeletor kick some ass. So that's always a good thing. One of my favorite villains from either series. So.
That's what I was going to say. I figured you particularly enjoy this. Skeletor says a line, it goes something like, Hordak and She-Ra defeated in one day. I should come to Etheria more often.
Absolutely.
So I knew you were definitely enjoying that little line.
Definitely. It's Skeletor's, again, one of probably my favorite villain from anything ever. And I love this episode.
I like how they paid attention to detail. She-Ra, after Adora runs into the cave and she turns into She-Ra, she has enough sense to realize she can't then come back out of the cave and be She-Ra. They would notice that. Adora goes in, She-Ra comes out.
Right.
Okay. If I recall correctly, and please correct me if I am wrong, but in the Mike Young show, Courage of Adam, I believe he does the same sort of thing. He goes into the cave, he changes into He-Man, but then he's still kind of there. And no one's the wiser. It might be he might have jumped down or something. I don't remember. But this was done a little bit better, where She-Ra actually comes up from the other side of the mountain, so to surprise them.
Yeah, there are quite a few times when Filmation was careful about the transformation sequence. Mm-hmm. I think throughout both series, there were a few occasions where they tried to make it a little more believable, I think.
Oh, okay. Now, this one, of course, we knew was going to make the set. We weren't sure what number, but if it didn't, we would have been like, what? No. Number 4 is Sweet Bee's Home. Perhaps the most infamous She-Ra episodes of them all.
Yes.
Now, this really pushes the Filmation limits, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It does, but it's a great episode. It's a fun episode. I hadn't seen this episode since I was a kid, so there's definitely some humor I think that goes over most kids' heads in this particular episode.
Totally.
And this one was definitely written for the adults watching the show, and it was very well done, very fun. And
one thing I'd like to note is cool. Erica Scheimer did some fantastic voice acting as Frosta in this episode.
That was her.
She nailed those lines,
Yes.
Especially with such handsome company. The type of lines like that where she's flirting heavily with He-Man. They were just perfect. They were
very
just
well
perfect.
done.
One thing I didn't like was Enchanta. What's her name?
Enchantra?
It's that stupid
the
bird.
Swan?
Yes. I'm not saying it right. Enchanta.
Something like that.
Maybe I did say it right. I don't know. Anyway, I can't stand her. There's no reason they should have been riding that. And I loved when she got shot and she made that like noise. We can ride Enchanta. Yes.
Bad shadow advocating animal cruelty.
Yeah. And of course, I do always enjoy when Frosta takes a hint from Iceman on the way she makes that little ice bridge to like travel around.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, she did that previously back in season 1, which would be Black Snow. She did that before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
very cool
mistake.
too.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll talk after you.
I was just going to say, I made the mistake of watching this episode on the plane on my way to, I believe, Chicago. And like Josh, had not seen it since I was a kid and was totally cracking up. And I think the people around me must have thought I was insane because I had my earphones on. They couldn't hear what I was hearing, obviously. And just looking on the screen, they'd probably be like, it's a freaking cartoon. What's so funny? But it was, oh my God, it's hilarious.
Very, very funny. And in addition to Erica Scheimer's brilliant performance in this, is for us to, John Irwin did incredibly well at playing off of her with his lines as He-Man, things that he didn't really get a chance to do a lot in other episodes of either series, and that's also a lot of fun. The intonation he gets in his voice and his reaction to some of the things is absolutely priceless.
And the animation in this one, I thought was especially good. There's facial expressions.
Oh, definitely,
just
yes.
The tiny little meticulous things they would pay attention to and alter to go along with the inflection of the voice and all. I was very impressed.
They did. I think they pulled out all the stops.
Yeah.
All the stops on this episode. It is so much fun. I wondered did either of you notice, whenever He-Man kind of falls on top of Frosta, they play this music. They don't really use it a lot. They didn't really use it a lot in the series. I can't remember what other episode I remember it from, but it was kind of real it was really like it got them like, oh, Frosta likes the He-Man, doesn't she?
I didn't pay attention to that. I'm gonna have to watch it again now.
Yeah, it was a very sweet sounding music. I really liked it. It was perfect. It was perfect for that scene. I don't think they actually used that bit of music a lot in the series.
How funny.
So, but that was great. All right, number 3, the big question mark we all have. Horde Prime takes a holiday. Thoughts?
Didn't like this episode, so I don't really have a lot to say. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it was always one that got on my nerves, and I haven't rushed to reintroduce myself to it.
Well, then I guess I'll take over the flagship, if you will. This plot centers around Horde Prime. This is why I think it was voted, because it has Horde Prime in the title.
Yes.
But in any case, Horde Prime has a warship called it. It's his flagship. In the thing, and he's going to have Hordak watch the ship for him. One thing I have to ask is, why didn't Horde Prime just use the ship to destroy Etheria before? I mean, so now he's going to let Hordak watch it, but it tells Hordak he can't use it. But of course, Hordak's going to use it to take over Etheria anyway. But if this is the most powerful warship, why doesn't he just come and destroy Etheria out of the blue? But this is a cartoon. We'll forgive it. The flagship is rather huge. You get to see it in the sky. It blocks out the sun. All that time. It's not your regular old Hordak. Ships in the sky. Mm-hmm. It definitely is going to be a big problem, for our friends down below in the Whispering Woods. Some weird things in the episode. He-Man has a rope that has unlimited length that the sorceress just happened to give him. I mean, a lot of people think, that since She-Ra can say sword to whatever, that's a little convenient. But this even goes beyond that to me.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I just happen to have this rope that can reach all the way out into space. But it's all right. The one thing about the rope, though, that it leads to He-Man actually holding the ship in place. And I like that because He-Man says to himself, he says, he asks himself, they call me the most powerful man in the universe. I guess we're going to put this to the test. I'm just paraphrasing there, but he says something like that. So I really, really like that line.
Yeah.
That was good. If anything, the episode is worth it for that. She-Ra goes up the rope. She ends up cutting the rope. And this is what I love too. These are the lines that make the thing. When the rope falls back down to Etheria, He-Man says something like, "Oh, I hope She-Ra knows what she's doing." And Swiftwind's like, "She-Ra always knows what she's doing." Be like, get that right, He-Man. What are you talking about? I actually own a production sketch from this episode.
Oh, cool.
Of Hordak and Multibot. And Multibot kind of was useless in this. I mean, really, so was Mantenna. But if you're going to have Multibot, I think you should at least do something. But
I just like any episode where Skeletor and Hordak get together and start either fighting each other or scheming together. It's just always funny to me, every single episode that happens in. So that part of this episode I really enjoyed, at least.
very true. That's very true. But again, I know Josh has seen Huntara 1,000 times and didn't think it needed to be on the set. But I would have put Huntara.
Yeah.
I would have.
At the very least.
I would have preferred Huntara. I mean, Huntara definitely much more deserved to be on. There's a lot of episodes that I think much more deserve to be on the set than this one. This is really the only one on the set that I'm unhappy with.
Yes, and surprisingly, it made it to number 3.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that as well.
So, kudos to Horde Prime takes a holiday. You did it. You won number 3. Your bronze medal She-Ra episode of Power. Moving on to a better episode, and my personal favorite. Number 2 is The Stone in the Sword. In this episode, Adora can't turn into She-Ra.
Which makes Shadow really, really happy.
It makes me really happy because she's Adora for most of the episode. Has some really good scenes, though, guys. First off, you have Hordak saying, "Horrible Hordak headed a herd of hideous horsemen." I need to make that my ringtone on my cell phone. But anyway, there's a real good scene when after Adora does change into She-Ra at the beginning, she goes up like on a mountain cliff thing, and she's ready and willing to fight Hordak's doom balloon. But what's great is that She-Ra's actually losing. She is fighting, but you can tell she's struggling against Hordak's new weapon. And I mean, it's really coming down. It's burning the forest. All that, Whispering Woods is going down. Smokey the Bear, not happy. But She-Ra loses. She's thrown down. By the time Cal gets over to her, she is turned back into Adora, and the jewel in her sword is cracked. And seriously, talk about like a cliffhanger. If this episode had been a 2-parter, that's where you would end it.
Yeah, if this would have been an excellent episode to be a 2-part,
yes,
actually.
It would have been fantastic just to have the last scene be, well, then I can never become She-Ra again.
Yes.
To be continued.
Dun, dun, dun.
That would have been an excellent episode.
Yeah, seriously. Does the problem with Power have suspense like that? No. Stone in the Sword, thumbs up on the suspense there. I mean,
really like the voice acting, too, that Melody Britt did when she was trying to turn into She-Ra. Like, before she noticed it was cracked, she's still trying to turn into She-Ra, and she's saying, for the honor of Grayskull. Usually her voice changes right when she says, for the honor of Grayskull, before she ever actually transforms. But in this one, her voice stays as Adora, saying that line, a couple of times before she realizes it's not working. So I thought that was really cool, too.
I like that, too, because I like how she's, like, even the second time she says it, she's, like, in a panicked mode.
Yeah.
So, really, really good voice acting from Melindy Britt. And I think from Lou Scheimer, too, as Light Hope. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, She-Ra has to go get her powers back. Or obviously. So Adora has to go through all these tests. Down in the underdwellings of Etheria. And meet the first ones who are completely made of fire. And that's how hot she looks. Really hot when she walks through the flames. It's like a perfect thing.
Yes.
Come on, Adora walking through the fire. That was awesome. But in any case, it really shows how much Adora and She-Ra are kind of the same person. Like, I believe it was even mentioned. It was mentioned in we'll get to the documentaries in a little bit, but in one of the documentaries on the disc, someone mentioned how, She-Ra is just Adora with powers, whereas Prince Adam is like aloof. He's not really the same as He-Man, but Adora is kind of, she's on the same line as She-Ra is. But I actually do have a little complaint about the episode. Can you guys believe it?
There's not enough Adora in it.
Can you guess what it is?
That she actually gets her sword fixed?
No.
What?
Well, one thing, I wish it kind of would have explained more about the sword. Because the first ones are able to restore her jewel, okay? But her power comes from Castle Grayskull. Like, the Crystal Castle isn't behind her until after she becomes She-Ra. So I thought, I don't know, I thought they could have went into more about the jewel or something.
Well, I think this still kind of connects back to a theory that I've batted around for years, that I think Etheria and Eternia, intentionally or not, whether I don't think it was probably necessarily planned by the writers of the shows or Mattel or anyone else, but there's definitely a strong argument to be made that the two worlds are sort of mirror images of each other. Mm-hmm. On Eternia, you've got the heroes in control. On Etheria, you've got the villains in control. On Eternia, there's a lot more magic and a lot less technology. On Etheria, there's a lot more technology and a lot less magic. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things. You've got the Crystal Castle, Castle Grayskull, are sort of completely opposites. Grayskull's this real frightening edifice type thing, whereas Crystal Castle's this more beautiful looking thing.
Castle Grayskull, easily obtainable. You can get to it easily.
Right.
You can attack it.
And
Crystal Castle, up in the sky, hard to obtain. Does Hordak even know it's there?
So there's endless endless points that you can make to these two worlds being sort of deliberately mirror images of each other. And in that case, I think you can argue that the first ones would be, could possibly be some sort of counterpart to the elders of Eternia. But in either case, I think that if you go with that, it's a lot easier to accept and explain away that part of this particular episode.
Excellent points, my friend.
And let me also, just for a minute, go back a couple of steps because I couldn't quite get a word in there and I didn't want to interrupt you while you were finishing the description of the episode. But as far as the voice acting goes, totally agree on that. And again, just want to stress the fact that the classic He-Man and She-Ra cartoons both had, if you compare them to really any other cartoon series of the 1980s, the acting was far and above the vast majority of the other cartoons of that time. That has partly to do with the actors, partly to do with the writing. I realize that the animation was limited in these series, but I think they made up for that so much in the acting and the writing. And a lot of these episodes on the best of She-Ra and also on the best of the He-Man show that we got last year show just really the fact that these are in a whole other league when compared to things like Transformers or Thundercats or a lot of the other big shows of that same time period.
I, of course, completely agree with you. How could I not? I mean, that's seriously. It is. It's just I really hate when Filmation gets panned for the use of stock animation. I don't know. As a kid, I loved it every time He-Man punched the screen. I loved it every time, when I saw the transformation sequence. That's like everyone's favorite part. They throw that in the episode 5 times, and I was a happy kid. I wanted more.
Well, the thing was, that too, especially with the transformation one is the one that always has bothered me when people have complained about that being stock animation. It's stock animation, yes, but it's stock animation that actually makes sense.
Yes.
It's not just something that they're reusing. They found a way of incorporating that into the mythos, and I think that was a very good decision on their part.
Yes. And plus...
so much so that they even did it in the 2000 show.
Yeah. And
Mike Young used stock information for transformation.
Yeah, and actually, I have a problem with that. Just because you obviously couldn't see it, but they would use this same background color most of the time when he'd be pulling out the sword. And I thought they should just insert whatever background they were at, because actually the Filmation would change the background that they were standing behind. A lot of times it would be She-Ra against this greenish blue sky, but they did switch it up sometimes, so I like that. Plus, right. She-Ra had a bigger budget, so there is less stock animation in it than He-Man. So plus, it had all the He-Man stock animation to incorporate too. So
right.
But I guess we should get to the number 1 episode. Price of Freedom. 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 They actually, you guys wanted me to read the moral.
We did. Go for it, Shadow.
Hi, it's me, Lookie. Did you find where I was hiding today? If not, here's another chance. See me now? Here I am. In today's story, the villagers' homes were destroyed by fire. Fire can be a very dangerous thing, and it can hurt you. It can destroy your home. But you can prevent that. If you don't play with the matches or lighters, you won't get burned. Bye now. See you next time.
There's just something so damn funny about listening to you read that at that speed.
Yes, it is.
Not to mention just impressive. And I wish that Lukey had talked that fast in the series, because that would have shortened the amount of time that we would have to be tortured with that annoying voice.
That's true. Well, I like Lookie, but beside the point,
he drives me crazy. He is really about the only thing about She-Ra that I dislike.
All right. Well,
to me, again, Orko, cool. Lukey, not.
All right.
They needed to make Lukey more like an Orko-like character. I don't mind those types of comic relief characters if they're done well, and I think Orko was. I don't think Lukey was. Unfortunately, I wish he had been, because I like the concept of the character. I just don't like the way that he was written and portrayed, really.
Well, he didn't really get enough play, really, either, besides just doing the morals at the end.
Thank God.
Exactly. Cowl was the one that got to be the sidekick in the show.
And see, Cowl was cool. Cowl was done like Orko, and those kinds of characters are a lot more acceptable to me.
I wonder who came up with the idea of Lukey. Like, having a little character hide in every episode. I think it's genius.
Again, the concept's great. It was just he is annoying.
All right, well,
so
back to the episode. For some odd reason, the best She-Ra episode starts off on Eternia.
That's because Eternia rule!
But in any case, they find out, problems on Etheria. So He-Man goes to help. But this is what I like, right? He-Man gets in there, and this is, really showing, that the Horde is evil, cruel, unjust. The people hate them, and with good cause. What is that from? That's from one of the episodes. I don't know. If I'm with good cause. What episode is that from?
Moving on.
The Horde is evil, cool. Oh, that's from Secret of the Sword. Okay. Right before She-Ra is smacked around a bit, or Dora. All right, sorry, guys. I apologize. So anyway, they're throwing missiles, blowing up this village. It's really bad. It's really bad. They have to get they have to get the He-Man out of the way. But it just shows really how the Horde threat is so much different than Skeletor. Skeletor is not in charge of Eternia. Hordak is in charge of Etheria, and he will burn down your village at the drop of a pin. Boom, It's gone. He will destroy everything in sight, and it just shows it's such a different fight, as we've mentioned before, on Etheria than Eternia. They are fighting for their freedom.
Again, going back to what we were talking about, the Mirror Worlds thing. Mm-hmm. Another episode that really clearly illustrates it.
Oh, yes. Oh, of course. Of course. Hordak's mad that, Eternia's golden boy is back. So he's really gonna punish these rebels. And they get stuck in a mountain cave, and it's falling apart, and She-Ra's upset because they think He-Man's gonna be killed and everything, and she goes to find the rebels. But it's an episode that really makes you think. Mm-hmm. War, bad, not good. And
somebody should show this to George Bush. This particular episode.
Oh, now let's not single out our viewers or our listeners. Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it.
Sorry.
Let's not.
All right.
But it has a really good speech in the episode. Bob Forward knows how to write his episodes. Okay, the character, what's his name? Colin. He's ashamed of everyone because they want freedom, but whenever the Horde comes and attacks and the time gets tough, they're frightened. they get scared and they're going to want to run. But he explains to them, you're all just like listening to me in awe, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
He explains to them, that freedom is the most valuable thing that they can have. It was a really, really good speech.
Now let me ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Regarding this episode. Now, I agree, this is a great episode. I voted for this episode. It was one of the best of the series. Definitely deserved to be in the top 5. My question to you, just interestingly, and not going to get into politics on this, but do you think that the current state of things in the world contributed to this making the number 1 spot? Because I think overall, Stone and the Sword is probably the better episode. And I found it really interesting that this one hit number 1.
Well, I don't know. Price of Freedom has always been, portrayed as the best She-Ra episode in the fan community for quite some time. I mean, Stone and the Sword has also gotten a lot of play, but I did remember a lot of fan reactions actually surprised that the Stone and the Sword made it as high as it did.
That's interesting.
So I'm not really sure. I mean, because it always has, the Problem with Power has always been billed as the best He-Man episode. And Price of Freedom basically was always billed as the best She-Ra one. And I think that probably played a large part into actually why it came. Is it because there's a war that we're fighting right now? It might have.
Well, and some similar themes as to what's going on in the world as well. So that's kind of what I was going for. And it may or may not have. I was just a little bit surprised to see. I expected it to rank high, but it did surprise me that it was number 1. Because I think there are better episodes. It's an excellent episode, don't get me wrong. But I was a little surprised to see it hit the number 1 spot.
All right. Shall we tackle the documentary real quickly also? There's a new documentary about basically kind of how She-Ra came about. All that fun stuff that I just love absorbing the information and soaking it up. Ooh. Can I just mention real quick the best part of the documentary, and then we can get into what people say?
Go for it.
Hands down the best part, Tom Cito.
Oh, yeah.
Who I met in San Diego 2005. He was not there this year, sadly. Because I would have asked him to do this, and I would have had a little boom. I would have had a little boom box with me. Tom Cito in the documentary comments on how he used to hear a lot about kids and people actually doing a little choreographed dance to the She-Ra transformation music. Okay? And then cut to Tom Cito doing this little dance, this little da 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 da, and then he says how they rotoscoped him for the She-Ra transformation sequence. Hands down, the best part of this entire DVD, I swear. Yes, I had to rewind it several times. I was laughing so hard, enjoying it. Tom Cito made my millennium watching that.
Now, the question is, did you do that dance as a kid, Chad?
No, sadly I didn't.
And you wouldn't admit it anyway, right?
No, I don't. No, seriously, I don't remember ever doing... I don't remember doing any type of dance like that, child. I did do a little my mom videotaped me showing off all my toys, but no dancing, unfortunately. Aww. No dancing. Next time we all hit a club, I'll bring the She-Ra transformation music. We can do the Tom Cito dance.
There
together.
We go.
But the documentary is really great. We get a lot of information. Some of it that Larry DiTillio tells us is repeated in the commentary, but that's fine because I need it instilled in my brain. But we have J. Michael Straczynski's on the documentary, Larry DiTillio, Lou Scheimer, Erica Scheimer, Gwen Wetzler, just a lot of people that worked on She-Ra. We thank them for participating. We hope to see you in more documentaries that focus on She-Ra. And they all say it She-Ra. They don't say She-Ra. They say She-Ra. They say She-Ra.
She-Ra.
On She-Ra. But we forgive them. Also on the DVD-ROM, we got scripts for the episodes in PDF format. So that's cool. I always like looking at the scripts. So anything else you guys want to add? Oh, I guess we should mention the I Have the Power music video featurette is also on this disc. It was also on the Christmas special. But it has a new storyboard comparison and sheet music sing-along, which actually isn't the sheet music for the music video version of the song. It's more for it's more for the movie version that's in the movie. But it's okay.
We can't read sheet music anyway. I can a little.
Well,
It's been a while.
I was first chair saxophone, but that was a long time ago. I can also mention the UK release. I don't know when it's coming out, but I've already seen the cover, and it's excellent, by Eamon, also known as Pig Boy. Digging the cover. It has like a bluish background, She-Ra in the middle. You have the sorceress on it, and you have He-Man, Crystal Castle. Looks real cool.
And the art cards are cool too.
Yes, and the art cards are awesome. So definitely pick that up. I pick up the overseas releases too because I'm just that insane guy. But so all in all, we're all happy with the Best of She-Ra set. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
And everyone needs to go out to Best Buy or wherever to buy it right now if they have not, correct?
Yes.
Go buy it. Yeah. Support the brand, support the series.
Oh, dude, I don't know if you've got any statistics just off the top of your head, but didn't we hear that the sales of this compared very well with the sales of the He-Man Best of?
Oh, yes. The She-Ra Best of is doing extremely well. I think everyone is definitely happy. She-Ra has not been forgotten, everyone. She-Ra has not been forgotten, and that is great.
Yay!
So definitely pick it up. Also, in November, She-Ra Season 1, Volume 1 will be out. And Josh, when does He-Man Season 2, Volume 2 come out?
I believe it is September 20... Let's see, 20-something. 21st, is it? Whatever that Tuesday is.
So around September, be looking out for that. It has an awesome cover, Skeletor, Evelyn, Beastman, and it's blue. It'll definitely stand out on the shelf.
The She-Ra Season 1, Volume 1 is slated for November 7th.
Right, yeah.
And as it stands right now, it looks like the next wave of the mini-statues will be in October. So the next 3 months are packed with Masters and Princess of Power related.
Another Filmation release by BCI is coming out this month as well, Black Star, which he is voiced by George DeCenzo, who does Bo and Hordak. And a lot of the little scene break transformations will remind you of He-Man. So check it out if you want. It's 13 episodes. It's the entire series. It comes out later this month in August, also from BCI.
Also, one other thing I'd like to add. I had meant to add this last time and didn't get a chance to. One thing that's really nice to see with the way that BCI has done these releases is there's for the Filmation libraries, Lou Scheimer has gotten a lot of exposure. Again, people, a lot of recognition for his body of work. He's been heavily involved in the extras and doing interviews and getting things together, promoting it, coming to the conventions, all of that. And that's led to a lot more recognition for him, even outside of these releases. He is also providing extras material for the Filmation Star Trek series that Paramount is releasing in November on DVD finally as well. And I don't think they would have bothered contacting him had it not been for his involvement in these releases. So it's really nice to see him getting more recognition.
I totally agree. Lou Scheimer is the saint.
Absolutely.
The man can do no wrong now. So thanks again, Filmation. Made our childhood the best.
And by the Star Trek series as well. I can't wait for it. I've been waiting to have this series for like 20 years, so I'm really excited.
Oh, I might pick it up. I am going to try to at least pick some of these up. I really want to see the documentaries because they are so well done on these Filmation releases.
Remember, a lot of the Star Trek the Animated Series was written by the same folks that wrote for He-Man and She-Ra.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of those folks started out on the original Star Trek live action series back in the 1960s as well. So DC Fontana and et cetera, et cetera. And Lou Scheimer does some voice acting in the Star Trek the Animated Series as well.
All right. Well, now getting to a special feature of this episode, Masters Cast coverage of Wizard World Chicago, where He-Man fans go to have fun and eat at hotel restaurants because we couldn't walk anywhere else.
One of these years, I'll meet you guys there. I will. Sooner or later.
We did have a really good turnout of He-Man.org members at Wizard World this year.
Yes.
Do you know the exact number that we had at the
I
big dinner?
believe at the big dinner we had 36 people. At the last count that I did at the dinner, we had 36.
So yeah,
at
big
the group dinner.
thank you to everybody who came out.
Yes,
it was awesome seeing all of you.
It was great seeing everyone. I'm sorry if I didn't get to talk to everyone. I try to talk to as many people as I can. It was a great time. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for making it a success. And thanks in advance for everyone you're about to hear that we interviewed. We interviewed the fans live with a little microphone. All right, roll that beautiful footage.
Okay, this is Katie Rainbow Bright sitting here at Rams with Jeremy Mossman 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, Jeremy, you're here at Wizard World Chicago for the how many at the time?
Hi. I have been here since 2003. So.
And what's the thing you look forward to most when you come to these conventions?
Good times, He-Man, exclusives, and my buddy.
Yeah! Who's Mossman?
So I'm assuming you got your copy of the She-Ra exclusive DVD, correct?
Correct.
And have you watched any of it yet?
Oh, are we talking about the exclusive or the one that was at the stores?
Well, since the video is the same on both, it's okay, one or the other.
I got the 10 best.
I'm still. I did Jeremy.
I know. I got the 10 best, but.
You mean the 5 best?
No, the 10 best.
For She-Ra?
Yeah.
No, it's Secret of the Sword and then the 5 best.
I don't watch that girl stuff. I got that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Now, have you gotten any exclusive He-Man figures, or not necessarily exclusive, but have you just bought anything He-Man related other than the DVD this year?
Yes, I have bought the Series 3 micro statues and the Evelyn mini statue. It is a mini statue, not a staction as you fans like to call. It is a mini statue. Says clearly on the package, staction is not a word.
That is a fair point. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for now. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you, and I need a refill.
Chicago. So now I'm sitting here with Paul Ashirakal from the He-Man.org board. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you're for one of the few people who actually can say it.
Awesome. Well, I just here wanted to ask you a couple questions about your con experience so far. You having a good time?
Of course, Katie finally showed up.
I know, I make everything so much better, right? Have you watched any of the She-Ra DVD yet?
Watched the whole thing about a week before it came out. I was bad.
Oh, that's right. You work for Best Buy, don't you? Little sucker. That's awesome, though. Which of the 5 would you say is your favorite episode?
Actually, my favorite's The Secret of the Sword.
Yeah, mine too. But I gotta say, Sweet Bee's Home was... Oh, wait, no. Not... Yes. Now I'm getting them confused.
Let's see, I forgot the name of the one. The actual episode, the one with the jewel, right? Is that the jewel and the sword?
Stone and the Sword.
Stone and the Sword.
Okay, yeah, you like the Stone and the Sword too? Yeah, that one's good. The Sweet Bee's Home is becoming a favorite of mine really quickly. It's hilarious. Have you collected anything He-Man related other than the DVD so far this year?
I actually broke my NECA-ban and got the classic Evil Lynn staction.
All right, good for you. And you like it?
Yep.
Good to hear. Well, I'll let you get back to fun you're having, but thanks for stopping by. Have fun the rest of your time at Wizard World.
Thanks, Katie.
Okay, here we are at the MV Creations booth with Uncle Dorco himself. Now, I think he's about to buy one of these variant cover Secret of the Sword DVDs. Is that correct?
Yep, the cover on this one looks more manly than on the other one, so I'm not going to be as ashamed to own it.
Now, do you actually own the other one as well?
I own the He-Man 10 best. That's all I can really afford right now.
That's understandable. Do you think eventually you'll get the other cover of Secret of the Sword?
No, I don't have enough money to do that.
And it's too pink for your taste?
Right, there's that too.
I suppose that's understandable for some of you crazy guys who can't get over yourselves. But anyway, are you having fun so far at the con?
Yeah, I just got here. I've only been here like 15 minutes, but yeah.
What have you seen? Well, you've only been here 15 minutes. You probably haven't seen much of anything yet. But what do you expect to see or hoping to see?
I just come here expecting to get free stuff and hang out with Orgers, so...
Sounds good to me. That's about what the rest of us do, I'd say. Now, do you have any questions for him, Shadow?
Do you like your t-shirt, Uncle Dorco?
Yes, I did. I like it.
Will you wear it proudly, Uncle Dorco?
Proudly, but I'll wear it. I'll wear it.
All right, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for talking to me, I guess.
All right, I am standing at the booth with...
Divya.
She doesn't really want to talk to us, but I'm making her. Because I'm not going to ask her any questions about She-Ra. That might go badly. But how are you enjoying the convention so far?
It's fun.
How fun is it?
Not very fun, actually. It sucks.
I'm going to have to bleep her out.
Okay, well, maybe we should start over.
All right, I am standing here with...
Divya.
And she doesn't really want to talk. Why is that?
I don't know. Get that thing out of my face.
Are you enjoying the convention so far?
We just went over that question. You had to bleep me out. Will you find the better
How are you redoing it?
Well, you need better questions.
All right, I'm standing here with...
Chuck Bowles!
And what's your favorite He-Man or She-Ra episode?
Was Batman in any of them?
Sadly, no. We wanted a crossover, but they couldn't get the rights.
Then none of them.
Oh, he's a stickler for the Batman, folks. Are you enjoying the con?
What?
Are you enjoying the con?
Where am I?
You're right by She-Ra. She's looking at you.
Yes! Yes. Hey, that's Hefty Smurf.
All right, I am here with...
Hefty Smurf 76.
And Hefty Smurf is a part of another podcast, is he not?
I think I am.
What would that be called, sir?
Powers of Paternia.
Check it out!
Yeah, that's right.
Are you enjoying your con experience?
I am indeed. I love it here. It's like Disney World for nerds.
Favorite She-Ra episode?
Oh, God. Put me on the spot. I think I'm going to kiss your ass a little bit and say Sweet Bee's Home.
Oh, very good choice.
Yes, indeed. I have ulterior reasoning for that, too.
Uh-oh. Awesome. I'm here with...
Gary.
And Gary.
Divya!
Try not to sound too excited, Gary.
Gary, why doesn't Divya like She-Ra?
Because there's pink.
It's true, there's too much pink.
If pink was removed from the show, Divya, would you consider watching it?
If there was a lot of black, yes, and a lot of I would.
Yeah, print that.
I doubt it because there's a lot of other pastel colors.
Oh, how do you feel about other pastel colors, Divya?
Yeah, I don't like them much.
Why not? Did the Easter Bunny scorn you once?
Not that I am aware of, no. I'm sorry.
Gary, what's your favorite She-Ra episode?
The Stone and the Sword.
Excellent choice. I'm now standing here with...
Brett Patterson.
And no talking about Lego, okay?
I can't promise that.
What would be the first Lego product you would put out that would be He-Man related if you had the power?
I do have the power, but not enough power apparently. Castle Grayskull, for sure.
And now how many Legos would you estimate it would take to make a Castle Grayskull?
John, Lego bricks, please, not Legos. There's no such thing.
I apologize.
You know, a nice Castle Grayskull can come in around about 1,200 bricks.
Wow.
With minifigures and everything. Little He-Man, little Skeletor, little Battle Cats that can ride.
Now you've been around these parts for a long time too, haven't you?
Yeah. I guess. A little too long, probably.
Now, what would you say is your favorite He-Man episode?
Give me a second, I'm kind of small. Not small. Dumb, that's the word I was looking for. The Problem with Power is a good one. What's the one where Adam has to do all sorts of stuff?
Prince Adam No More.
Prince Adam No More. I like that one, too.
All right, man. How's your Comic-Con experience so far?
It's been pretty extraordinary. That's about the best word I can use in a G-rated sense to really wrap it all into a little ball.
Now, are you still aware, Brett, that you owe me a slice of pizza?
I think I owe you more than a slice of pizza, John, but I am aware. We shall maybe rectify this debt tonight.
All right, thanks for talking with us.
You're welcome. I love Masters Cast. I've always been a fan.
I am standing here with
Adam Tyner.
Now, for folks who don't know, who is Adam Tyner?
The man, the mystery, the legend. December 1995, I found a tape of He-Man episodes. You would probably know the name better than I would. What was it, The Greatest Adventures? Right. Found that tape. Was inspired to make a website since I made websites for everything that caught my attention in December 1995. And for some reason, people found it, and I just kept getting emails with, lists of characters and episode guides, photos, and I just kind of aggregated what people sent me, and it wound up just exploding into this enormous community that's still around today.
So what would be like some of your favorite memories from like back in the day when we had the mailing list going on and everything like that?
The same kind of interpersonal drama I'm experiencing here in Chicago.
Nice. If you can think back, what would you say is probably your favorite He-Man episode?
I would say not Secret of the Sword. Why do I keep saying Secret of the Sword? The Problem with Power. It's something alliterative. But you don't like that episode.
No, I'm not a big fan. I've had conversations with the Bustatoons. And now I'm having conversations about it with the Adam Tyner.
Well, I haven't seen it in like 4 years, so...
Well, we'll forgive you on that. So are all the crazy He-Man fans, you're getting along with them? They scaring you a bit?
I don't know what my expectations were, but it wound up being much, much, much better than I ever thought it could be.
So overall, positive experience coming to Wizard World?
Yes. Absolutely insane. It's not even one of those things where it's like, oh, those people were very nice. I had a very pleasant time. No, they're just nutballs.
All right, man.
And I want to use something much more vulgar than nutballs, but I'm not sure what the rating...
Yeah, we're a G-rated podcast.
What?
Thank you so much for talking with us, Adam.
Word.
All right, thanks again for everyone who came up and talked to us, or I stalked them so that they would talk to me for Masters Cast. And I hope the few people that got a bonus T-shirt enjoy them, because I know I enjoyed the T-shirt.
Yes, indeed.
So I guess it's time to say goodbye, and this is when I would cry when Mr. Rogers' neighborhood was on. Didn't he, you knew when it was time to go, he started, singing a song.
And he only wore the pink sweater once. I watched that show for years waiting for him to put back on the pink sweater, and he never would. I'm still traumatized.
I've met Mr. McFeely.
Have you now?
I met him. Yes, I did. I just thought I'd throw that out there. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We're going to have a couple bloopers for you at the end from Wizard World. I'm John Callis, also known as The Shadow.
I'm Josh de Lioncourt, also known as Lioncourt.
And I'm Katie Carty, also known as Rainbow Bright.
1, 2, 3. Good journey!
Why do you like